Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. This one I'm going to be talking about Faction Boss. Um, Myself, Gerson, and DJ were in the early beta, I guess alpha for this, and we've played some builds, so I think probably have a little bit more insight than just what you guys are seeing. That being said, it was still not finalized the last time I played, so I will give you guys the best information I have from what I understand. So the first part, actually let's go to Faction. The first part that you had was qualifying for Faction Boss, and you do that the same way as you do your other stuff by doing your weekly expeditions. You can see a new week started, and as long as your faction maxed this part out, then you're eligible for the Faction Boss, which now we're in what's called the scouting phase. All that means is you send guys out on scouting missions each day, and you get more bonuses. You can see this scouting mission will give you 20% more health. Day 2 is going to give all color finishes do a higher percentage damage depending on how many of your faction mates do it. Day 3, submission moves do more damage per turn. Day 4, all color moves that deal damage will do more damage. So you're counting on your faction mates simply to put a guy in here each day, and you will do more damage. So that's step 1. Today I was messing around with it, and I just clicked on it. You know, the little person icon down here. It took me a minute. I was like, scout mission, how do I do this? Because we actually didn't do this in the beta. We played the boss battles. We didn't do this. So I was clicking around, and finally I clicked on the little open face here, and I hit autofill and enter without thinking, and of course it put this guy in there. And I'm like, well, I don't want him in there. Let's replace him. Currently, when you hit replace, it takes you to superstars not in the loot. You can't replace anyone. So if you autofill and put someone you don't want in there, or you want to change it afterwards, currently you can't. This is in beta. I'm assuming the replace button will work. But basically to fill this up, you just need talent points. And as long as your faction puts enough talent into it, there you go. So nothing too hard for scouting missions. Simply each day log in, click the little person icon down here, and fill it in with your best superstar to do it, at least so far. Maybe they'll have certain restrictions, like perhaps you'll have to use your Alexa Bliss tomorrow. It's possible as the days go on there'll be specific requirements. This says Big E, so perhaps you have to put a Big E in there. Maybe it's any, maybe it's a specific one. This looks like specifically NW a show, and I'm guessing for this part, I don't know. Today's seemed open, but who knows? This one has a Becky underneath it. Maybe it'll be Becky. I don't know. As far as what I do know, this is the faction boss guide up here. This kind of tells you what you're going to be seeing from the boss. So this will determine who you bring to fight the boss, and we'll get to that next. But you can see here, blue gems do 50% more damage to the boss. So anyone making blue gems is going to be much more effective this week. And the boss, black gems do 50% less damage. So like, that's at boss difficulty level 4 and above. So you wouldn't want to bring, say, oh, I don't know, let's use Trickster Big E in. You wouldn't want to use him with his black gem spamming build, because they do half the damage at level 4 and above. Beyond that, these are the boss's abilities, and these can change as the boss level changes as well. This just deals damage every turn, deals 0 damage to players, and deals an additional 500,000 for each boss turn that is elapsed. Applies at boss difficulty level 1 and above. That one's done every turn. Freeze moves. Deals 0 damage to the players and freeze 2 moves for all players for 1 turn. Applies at boss difficulty level 7 and above. So if you try the boss at 7 and above, every turn he will freeze 2 moves for every player. So you only have 1 move available to you. That's where your boss breakers will come in. You'll need to bring a guy that's got the boss breaker that can unfreeze your moves. That's at level 7 and above. Before level 7, you can see much easier. After level 7, it's going to get much harder. Then he's got these utility abilities. This is a shield. Deals 0 damage to the players and activates a shield. Can be broken only by breaking 225 gems. So when the boss uses this shield, when it's charged up and he uses it, you will not be able to damage the boss until you break 225 blue gems as a group of 4. So if you think you're going to bring somebody in and just like power through him, once the shield goes up, you can't do anything until you break 225 blue gems. The idea behind this is to keep everyone from bringing Macho King in and just spamming power gem Macho King damage. So, and then of course at 4 and above, he gets this one, deals 500,000 damage to players, and increase the MP cost of all moves by an additional 4 points for 1 player turn. So of course everything costs 4 more MP. Also of note in boss battle, every time you swipe, it's not what we would consider a traditional turn. So if you take a 3 gem swipe and swipe, you don't next action get 1 MP. The only way you get MP in boss battle is by actually matching the gems or having moves that generate it. So every time you swipe, you're not getting that 1 MP. That's worth noting as well. So that's kind of the card here as you look at it, the prep card for the boss. This tells you what abilities he's going to have. Then you get to what's called the lineup card. And you have these different icons, right? You got this one here, which is going to be, these guys I think are, what are they called? Like focused or something? I'm not used to the icons yet. Drew is focused, yep. So you can bring any focus card in here. But when you look at them, look at their boss breaker. Hell freezes over. Unfreeze 1 move from 1 teammate that the boss has frozen. Cooldown 2 minutes. So we already know the boss is going to do a bunch of freezing. So this, if I was bringing Drew, this would make sense, right? We'll put Hell freezes over. Then he has that boss breaker ability. Right now it's only level 1. As you do more boss battles, you'll get the currency from doing boss battles to level up your breaker moves, right? So you can level them up, and then I'm sure it'll unfreeze 2 moves from 1 teammate, etc., etc. Early on, that's going to be a big deal, right? So I would imagine at the start, it'll be much harder to beat a boss on level 10 than, say, after we've been doing this 6 months and people have leveled up their boss breakers and you have a strategy down. So that's a good reason to bring a focused. It doesn't have to be tech, but anyone that's focused. Another one in Drew's case, he makes a bunch of blue gems from his snowfall, so that would be another good reason to bring Drew for when the board is frozen, to break those 225 blue gems. And he recycles himself pretty well, which is also important once he gets started. So there's that. Also, let's see who else is focused in here, some options. Someone like, Rollins makes blues. You could do that. Jeff Hardy makes blues. Really anyone that makes blues, you're going to get a lot more options. And because you're getting your turn, right? Some traditional guys might not be the best guys. For me right now, I would say he looks like he's going to be a good choice. So I would probably be inclined to bring Drew for me. Plus minus 5-star silver, right? So not only can he make blues, but he's got the Hell freezes over one to unfreeze your moves and stuff. So for the boss breaker, so Drew would be a good choice, I think. He might not be my final choice, but Drew's a good choice there. I think this one might be chaotic. And I mean, obviously for me, Austin would be my go-to right here. He makes a ton of blues. Let's see what kind of boss breaker these guys get. Chaotic. It's time. Add an extra +2 to 5 seconds to the player's turn. So we get extra turn meter for this one. So that's pretty good. I'll take extra turn meter. So Austin would definitely be one I would probably look to bring in. Now the one thing is him and Drew both use blue, so blue MP, so trainer. So that maybe I won't end up doing, right? We could look and see potential some other guys. So again, looking for blue guys. HBK can do a lot of damage. He could be a great one. When you look at HBK, boss breaker, I believe the boss breakers, the abilities are going to be tied to chaotic, focused, that sort of thing, right? And HBK can 1 MP make a bunch of random gems into blue. Now, do remember, every time you swipe, you don't get MP, so you'll actually have to do a purple match to charge this move. So maybe HBK is not your best bet, right? It's going to take some tinkering and some playing, but he certainly should be good. And really, it's just trying to find guys that you have that are leveled up fairly decently that can meet the requirements. I mean, Motu Triple H, a lot of people have him. He should be a really good one for this. I mean, let's equip the Boss Breaker. He can choose some blue gems, so he's got a choose move, not super hard to reload, so he would certainly be an option. Subs work differently in Boss Battle 2. I will let you guys test them just to see, but they do work differently, and you score points for subbing as well, I believe. Again, that could have changed. So there's another option, though, Motu Triple H. So you're basically trying to fill your lineup out. Also, I mean, ideally, I think what'll happen is, as far as I know, there's going to be no limit on how much you can do this. Obviously, people are going to pick four-man teams and form four-man teams and run those consistently in their faction. For people that want to go far, I think having a set group is smart to push the highest level. But that being said, you also have, there's no penalty for helping your faction mates, right? Because you're going to be able to run these as much as you want. As far as I know, and this may not end up being true when it's live, as far as I know, there's no plans to require health packs. You're not going to lose your hit points and things like that, and you can do unlimited runs. So you can just go in and play, no negative impact, and you can just have some fun. You can have your set crew, and then you can help your faction mates out. I think this is going to be a really good thing. Anyway, Steamboat, another, 5-star gold for me, so he would make sense to bring because he's very leveled up. Damage isn't going to hurt him too much. This is cool, a crack in the shield, 25% gem damage and 25% move damage of the player. Ignore the boss's shield and directly affects the boss's health for the next 3 actions. So let's say you almost have the boss down, you don't want to break those 225 gems. You could hit crack in the shield, and your gem and move damage on your next 3 moves will 25% will directly apply. So maybe you can punch through that shield at the very end. Kind of situational, but that could be good. If you're getting higher and the boss's damage is really high, you can hit exhaust, and then the next time the boss does a move, it'll reduce the damage by 25%. So I probably would take a situational crack in the shield for me. Just because I feel like that could come in clutch and you could save the day with that move if that's the one I try. So anyone else we got in here that can generate a lot of blues for the bonus? You don't have to do blues, right? They just do 50% more damage. So like if you don't have one leveled up and you just want to go like move damage, maybe someone that can recycle fairly easy, has a 1 MP move. You could use someone like Orton. You could use Sika, who's got low charge moves. Alpha recycles, but do keep in mind with Alpha, even though he's got the buff, you're taking a hit on black gems. So there's a lot of give and take with all of this. And moves that fill one another and require you not to do swipes, I think will probably be the way to go in this mode. I don't know that for sure though, but that was my feeling from playing it. I feel like it's going to be a lot more tuned than when I tested it. And also again, keep in mind this is beta, so please try it and give constructive feedback. If there's a feature you think is rough, make sure and give that feedback so it can get fixed. The nice thing is we don't have to jump through a lot of hoops to get into this beta. They're just popping it in the game for us to play. Then finally, let's take a look at this last one. I mean, someone like Cesaro who can fill his own moves a bunch might be good. He's not making blue, but he's not making black. Let's see what his boss breaker is. So he's got a bunch of different ones, these defensive ones. Tuning up the band, increase gem damage of teammates by 33% for the next 3 actions. That's pretty cool. Helping Hand, heal the lowest health teammate by 33% of players' max health. Okay, so this defense has a healer. Fill one teammate's boss breaker meter by 25%. These abilities are all really cool. I think they'll be a lot of fun. So the defensive one looks like it's going to have a lot of options. Let's see who else is in there at a higher level for me that could work. Booker might be interesting. I never tested his freeze gems, how that works with the boss. I couldn't tell you, but that could certainly be interesting. I could actually see someone like Showboat Mankind being useful here, and people might potentially laugh, but he can actually spam a ton of blue gems for a fairly low charge. You throw a bad attitude plate on him, and you know, he could probably do some work in this game mode. I think this game mode is going to bring up a lot of options that you might not have considered. So take a look at different guys you have leveled, and maybe even some that aren't leveled yet that could potentially be some superstars in this gameplay mode. I'm actually super looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, I think you're going to get out of this mode what you put into it. Meaning you don't have to play a ton and you can still reap some benefits, but if you play a ton, really optimize, I think it'll be a lot of fun working with your teammates and that sort of thing. So I enjoyed it a ton in beta, and I can't wait to get to it. So basically, to recap, guys, as far as I know, we covered the card and what this stuff means and how you can use that to figure out what to use down here. Right? We talked about a few guys that might be kind of good. Maybe you have them, maybe you don't. I didn't go super into depth. That's going to vary roster to roster, but do keep in mind, if you don't have the effective boost, grab somebody that is at least high leveled and not using black gems, and try it out, right? The scouting missions, if we go back into those, they're going to be different each day and they give different bonuses. All you got to do is pop your guy in and click him and you're good each day. So it's just a matter of logging in and sending your guys on their scout mission. So remember, click the name. Currently the replace doesn't work, so don't panic if you can't replace them, because it takes you to this screen and you can't do anything right now. I did let them know, so they know about that, so hopefully they can fix that soon. And then just, this seems to be the pattern. It's like you do your missions for a week. Once those are done, then it starts the prep week that we're on now, and you send out your scout missions for 5 days, and then we'll have, it looks like, probably at least a couple days to do faction boss. And that's pretty neat. There's of course also, you can hit more detail here. And it's going to bring up the faction page that's not full right now. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe we can get some more info on there. I'll talk to Furpo. Maybe we can even put this video on there, because I think it might help you guys, potentially. So it'll talk about some of the different stuff in here if you want. You're going to want to pay close attention to the attributes. We already went over that. Boss breaker abilities, we went over a lot of them. I think they're going to be super unique and bring a lot to the game. Scouting missions, we just talked about that. Not hard to do. You just pop your guy in. And then the boss battle itself, we're still waiting to see, but it does tell you you don't get a match when you do a swipe. You don't get 1 MP when you do a swipe. You only get MP from matching or your moves generating it. So make sure and keep that in mind. Rewards for the beta launch. The higher difficulty you can defeat, the better prizes you will earn, and the more faction mates you play with, the more rewards you'll earn, is looks like what it said. So that's really cool. Encouraging you to work with multiple faction mates. I think that's really awesome. But it is also beta, so the pricing isn't set either. So keep that in mind. And then the unlock faction part boss, that was already there. So this is what the screen looked like, and you just do your faction quest like you normally do. So hopefully your faction did that. If they didn't, they were talking in beta that there would be an open thing where you could queue to join randoms, but the rewards wouldn't be as good, so no one got left out. I don't know if that'll be live for this. Hopefully it will. But I think that should pretty much cover the faction boss. Hopefully that information helps. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If I went too quickly, if I didn't explain it well, let me know. We'll probably talk about it on stream tomorrow on Monday. If you want to show up live, we can talk about it. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps, and good luck out there.